Detective Diana Vance had never been naive about the system, but she had once believed it could be fixed from the inside. That illusion shattered the day she found a folded memo beneath her door at the Metropolis Police Department. No seal, no signature, just 12 plain words, effective immediately. Your position is under review. Access has been revoked. No meeting, no warning, just silence. 2 weeks earlier, Diana, one of only 3 black female detectives in the department, had submitted a quiet inquiry. She'd flagged a disturbing pattern, a sudden wave of promotions, all going to white officers tied to the same inner circle. Some had disciplinary records. Others lacked even the minimum experience. Diana hadn't accused anyone. She just asked questions. That was enough. She left her badge on her desk and walked out through the side door, the one used by janitors and night staff. In the hallway, heads turned. Some nodded curtly. Most avoided her eyes. She didn't say goodbye because in Metropolis PD, a black woman who questioned authority wasn't seen as brave. She was seen as dangerous. That night, Diana didn't post on social media. She didn't call her sister. She didn't cry. She sat in her tiny Bronx apartment, rereading her handwritten oath in the front of her old department notebook. The ink hadn't faded, but maybe her belief in the system had. Days later, a video leaked. Diana standing before a disciplinary panel of white brass delivered a calm but cutting message. When promotions depend more on complexion than qualification, we don't have a police force. We have a club. The clip didn't go viral. The department buried it quickly, but someone saw it. That Sunday, Diana sat alone in the last pew of Calvary Baptist Church. As the choir hummed its final notes, a woman in a gray blazer quietly slid beside her. "Miss Vance," she said softly, "I don't need your side of the story. I saw enough." She handed over a card. "Special Agent Maya Chun, FBI Civil Rights Division." Diana studied it. "You investigating them?" Chun gave a half smile. "Not yet, but we're listening if you're willing to talk." Diana didn't answer, but she didn't walk away either. Thursday, they met again, this time in a Prospect Heights diner. Chun brought a file. Inside were names Diana already knew and one she'd suspect. White officers fast-tracked after campaign donations. Black officers moved to high-risk precincts with no explanation. Complaints ignored. Then came a photo. Leo Sterling, her former partner, her former lover, promoted 2 months after testifying against her in a vague conduct review. She closed the file. "I'm not here to burn the place down," Diana said. "I just want truth to cost something again. That's why we need you," Chun replied. "You've lived the silence." Diana asked for a week. She rented a room above a barbershop in East Harlem. No badge, no phone. She trained alone, cooked, studied, rewatched body cam footage from her own arrests, half of which involved black suspects treated with force while white ones walked away. It wasn't just about promotions. It was about permission. At the end of the week, she texted Chun, "I'm in, but I do this my way." She re-entered the department quietly, posing as a community liaison. Some thought she'd taken a city job. Others assumed she was consulting. No one asked because when you're a black woman in a system built to ignore you, your presence becomes invisible the moment you stop being a threat. She offered to help with youth programs, reviewed cold cases, took coffee with junior officers. But what she really did was listen. She studied who got assigned where, who moved up, who never did. Always race was the pattern no one said aloud. But everyone followed. 2 months in, a nervous rookie pulled her aside. "They told me if I want a detective slot," he whispered, "I need to back the captain's election fund. A few hundred, or else I'll stay on patrol another year." "What's your name?" she asked. He hesitated. "Miller." His skin was light. "Mixed. Maybe white passing." Diana nodded. "Let me guess. No black officers got that offer." He blinked, then shook his head. She sent it to Chun. Within a week, Officer Miller wore a wire. The audio was clear. Contributions for promotions, promises made in low voices. One line stood out. "We don't need loudmouths. We need loyal ones." Then Leo showed up. He found her on the sidewalk outside the gym. No uniform, just a hoodie and silence between them. "You're working with them," he said. She didn't deny it. He sat beside her. "I didn't mean to betray you. I just wanted to stay." "You stayed," she said quietly, "but not with me." He said nothing more, and she didn't ask him to point. 2 nights later, she walked into a bar downtown. Chief Morrison was there. He didn't recognize the recorder in her purse or the calculation in her eyes. He leaned forward over his whiskey. We need to keep the force balanced. The media loves a diverse face, but leadership takes predictability. Diana raised her glass and smiled. She was done pretending. But just as the truth began to surface, one of her own disappeared. A name she trusted. And this time there was no video. 3 days after the recording of Chief Morrison's confession was secured, Diana Vance received a midnight call from a restricted number. A shaky voice whispered, "They took him. Miller. I saw 2 men shove him into an unmarked car near Precinct 4. No plates." Then the line went dead. Diana stood frozen in her apartment. She knew what this was. The silence had started to fight back. She texted Chun immediately. Within hours, a federal team combed through surveillance footage. Nothing. No traffic cams. No cell pings. It was a ghost operation. Internal, tight, and deliberate. "You were too close," Chun warned. "They're cleaning house." But Diana wasn't backing down. By morning, she was back at the precinct, acting calm, offering fake smiles, her eyes scanning everything. The file she carried wasn't about youth outreach this time. It was her insurance, a list of every manipulated promotion, falsified record, and suspicious campaign donation, all backed by timestamp data. She made her way to the records room. That's where she found the door already open. Inside stood Lieutenant Leo Sterling, hands in his coat pockets, eyes low. "You shouldn't be here," he said. "Neither should you," she replied, stepping inside and closing the door behind her. Leo looked different now, tired, smaller. "I didn't know they'd go after Miller. You stood next to them while they did. I didn't order it, but you didn't stop it." He turned to her, voice breaking. "What do you want from me, Diana?" She hesitated. "Truth." He stepped forward quietly. "You still don't understand. This place doesn't need loyalty. It needs silence. The kind of silence that keeps pensions safe and families fed. And how many black officers have to vanish inside that silence?" She snapped. The air in the room grew cold. Leo stepped aside. "I copied Morrison's hard drive," he said, sliding over a flash drive. "Everything's on it. Internal memos, donation trails, recruitment biases, deleted complaints. It's ugly." Diana took it. "Why now?" He sighed. "Because I watched a man disappear and I realized I might be next. They don't protect anyone. Not really." That night, Diana met Chun at a secure federal site. The flash drive was gold, far beyond what they'd hoped. It painted a picture of systemic, racially coded manipulation. Promotions granted to white officers after loyalty dinners, while black officers were reassigned to failing districts, blocked from training, or targeted for minor infractions. "This isn't just a scandal," Chun said, her voice low. "It's a blueprint." Federal subpoenas followed. Morrison was placed on administrative leave within 48 hours. 3 captains resigned. A 4th tried to flee the state, but was intercepted at JFK. But Diana wasn't done. She requested one final thing: a hearing, public, televised, and on record. The department wanted it quiet. Chun insisted. Diana entered the Metropolis Town Hall alone. This time she wore her old badge on her blazer, not as a cop, but as a survivor of the system she once believed in. The panel welcomed her. Reporters filled the back rows. "Detective Vance," one council member began, "can you explain why you risked everything?" Diana didn't flinch. "Because I was taught that being black and silent was safer than being black and honest. But that was never safety. That was surrender. And I didn't take an oath to surrender." She laid the flash drive on the table. Behind her, screens lit up with charts, maps, documents, proof. The silence in the chamber turned heavy. She continued. "This department rewarded quiet compliance and punished those who questioned why every qualified black officer hit a ceiling. It wasn't personal, it was policy." Gasps filled the room as footage played. Morrison admitting predictable leadership. Another officer exchanging promotions for donations. Even a clip of Leo Sterling handing her the drive. Diana paused. Miller was taken, and he was returned. But next time, someone won't be. That single sentence cracked whatever illusion remained. The next morning, Morrison was arrested on charges of conspiracy, fraud, and obstruction. Several officers turned state's evidence. Internal Affairs was gutted and restructured under new oversight. And Diana? She declined every job offer. FBI, Civil Rights Board, internal leadership. Instead, she created her own unit, independent, civilian-led, funded by grants and public donations. Its mission: monitor and expose systemic racial abuse in law enforcement nationwide. She called it Co-Black. The first hire, Officer Miller. Alive, quiet, but changed AS for Leo. He vanished. No charges, no job, just gone. Some say he left the country. Others say he finally found his own silence. But Diana had found her voice. And this time, no one was going to bury it.